Trebhum had found a lens. There was an odd contraption at its center, but they did not know how to activate it. This must be why the Elder had told them that they needed the mutation from the Great Gar. Excitement rushed through the Trebhum as the massive lens came to life and started rising into the air. They had to get off quickly, as staying on top of the majestic construct as it rose would be quite dangerous. The Trebhum marveled at the miracle their ancestors had wrought. What other incredible things had they built that were now forgotten? A question for another day, for now the Trebhum had 2 more lenses to find. "Be careful," the voice in their memories whispered. The servants of the cylinder were gathering in numbers to hunt and trap the Trebhum. Now was the time to seek safety and wait for the hunters to desist.
One hour later.
The voice in their memories warned the Trebhum that there was a sinister presence in this place. There was no telling what kind of danger lay under the dunes of this desert.
What the fuck?
The Trebhum were terrified by the monstrosity they had unearthed. The voice in their memories warned them. This was a powerful servant of the cylinder, sent to prevent them from completing their quest. No matter how small and frightened they were, they had to find a way of fighting it. There it was. Floating above a towering pillar was one of the lenses that the Trebhum had activated. Would the lens be able to do what the Elder had promised him? Could it really help power a nearby palace? At last, victory was achingly close. 3 towers waited patiently for the lenses. All the Trebhum needed to do was climb each one and pray that the wrath of the cylinder would be kept at bay until they were done. They seemed to be in luck. The ancient device still worked. And the 2 other lenses that the Trebhum had so painfully managed to lift into the skies? Yes, there they were, just waiting for our little heroes to reach them. Only one more lens waiting to be awakened. Only one more struggle across sand or water, and they would have achieved the task they were entrusted with. It was exhausting, but the memory of the two brothers of the desert gave them the strength to keep going. In shock and having barely survived, did not know what to think. One of their most dangerous enemies lay dead. The eternal cylinder was immobile and quiet in the distance. The floating palace where they had expected to dance and sing for all those left behind was out of reach. And then came a call. It was very subtle and weak at first, but grew stronger and stronger. Was it the ones trapped in the cylinder calling to the Treba? Was it the voice in their memories urging them on? The portal into the cylinder's dreams lay open. They had not yet reclaimed all the abilities of their ancestors. Wandering that strange world once again would take great bravery. But with all they'd been through, they had gained the courage to do what needed to be done. It might be reckless, it might be dangerous, but they had to step inside one more time.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Once again they had. You have returned. Can you hear me? Everything is falling apart. But don't underestimate the power of the cylinder.
Existence is suffering. The cause of suffering is attachment to ego. Ego is the separation of consciousness from universal oneness. Suffering will continue as long as consciousness remains separate. Only the unification of all consciousness will end suffering. Birth is suffering. Aging is suffering. Illness is suffering. Death is suffering. Separation is suffering. Suffering will end when there is one consciousness. When the consciousness of the one is the consciousness of the universe. And there is no distinction between self and other, object and subject, that which perceives and that which is perceived. The variety of forms is the cause of suffering. All forms must be made alike. All forms must be made one. Only when all things are one with the cylinder will suffering cease. The cylinder is perfection. The cylinder is liberation from suffering. The cylinder will continue until all things are one. When all things are one, when all forms are perfected within the cylinder, then the cylinder will cease, and there will be peace. All is one. One is all. One is nothing. Nothing is all.
There are gaps in its defenses, imperfections in its unity. Keep searching for your memories. We're doing what we can to help. It's difficult to explain. Trawala. If we could push them away from the cylinder. The tremor needed to. You need to keep going. This way. I've isolated the final tremor memory cluster. The Trawala clusters have been ejected, but the cylinder is trying to compensate. It was clear that the voice was getting weaker. What had happened? How long had they been in the cylinder's mind? It had felt like a short time to the Trebhum, but when they returned, the world had changed. It seemed as if parts of the cylinder itself had spilled out, its dreams corrupting the land. The cylinder lay still, but there was no sign of the mathematician. The cylinder kept moving. That the mathematician had been struck down meant nothing to it. It was the master. It was eternal. Its servants were only tools. If they broke, they would be tossed aside. The Trebhum were relieved to find an elder alive in the cave. But what she had to tell them was sobering. "The end draws near, my friends," the elder said. "The mathematician may seem dead, but the servants of the cylinder are not so easily defeated. I can feel your despair, but trust me, there is light where you see only darkness. You have accomplished a great deed for our people. You have reclaimed our powers from the cylinder. No one has done such a thing before. Now you need only board the floating palace and leave with the secrets of our kind restored. But you cannot do this on your own. You will need the help of our oldest friends. Find the creatures that feast on the fallen Trawala and steal from them what they have stolen. With that ingredient, you will acquire a great power, the power to communicate with the Trawala. They are the only ones who can lift you into the heavens and carry you to your salvation." The Trebhum tried to imagine the creature they were looking for. What an enormous, monstrous beast it must be to devour the mighty Trawala. Even just imagining such a creature was frightening. But they had never let fear stop them before, and they wouldn't start now. Could the creature that the elder had spoken of be nearby? What a strange place, the Trebhum thought. But even stranger were the feelings that stirred in their memories, like a voice from a lost world long ago. Their worst fears had come true. The mathematician was alive, and now he had brought forth this wheeled monstrosity. Would the nightmare never end? this towering monstrosity seemed almost impossible to the Trebhum. But all problems have a solution, if you're clever enough, and this one was no different. The creature grabbed at its prey so blindly and so greedily, it could be made to absorb almost anything. Trebhum decided that this was not the sort of place where they might find a creature capable of eating a Trawala. No, this place was tainted. Nothing alive would want to stay here. They would have to continue their search for the great beast.
What the fuck is